Dear students, in this session, we will study about pharmaceutical excipients. Myself, Mrs. Kishori Sutar, working as Assistant Professor in the Department of Pharmaceutics, KLE College of Pharmacy, Belgaum. Let us see about the details of pharmaceutical excipients. So moving to the classification and the definition, excipient is defined as a pharmacologically inactive substance which is formulated along with an active pharmaceutical ingredient which is meant for a particular medication. There are various purposes which are served by an excipient. They include as follows. It provides as a bulk to the formulation when the concentration or the quantity of the drug is very less that has to be formulated. It facilitates the absorption of the drug, or it enhances the solubility and various pharmacokinetic considerations. It also helps in handling of an active pharmaceutical ingredient during manufacturing, and it provides stability and prevents from the denaturation of the drug. So excipients play a very important role while formulating or giving a particular desired shape for a product. The list of excipients are as follows: from fillers, solvents, binders, disintegrants, coating agents, sorbents, humectants, lubricants, preservatives, chelating agents, some of the antioxidants, buffering agents, surface active agents, and organoleptic agents. So in this, fillers is the first category. They are going to help us typically to fill out a particular dosage form of a size which may have a tablet or a capsule. Makes it practical to produce, and it gives a desirable shape for a dosage form which is convenient for the consumer to use it. The fillers exhibit various functions such as it adds volume or mass to a drug substance. It facilitates the metering or precise metering and handling in the preparation of dosage forms. It is used in various tablets and capsules. The features or ideal characteristics of a filler are: it should be inert, compatible with other components, non-hygroscopic, so that it should be stable at the atmospheric conditions. Then it should be relatively cheap, easily compactable. It should be tasteless and pleasant tasting. It has to be exhibiting a pleasant taste, because if a patient is consuming it orally, it has to either mask the unpleasant taste or odor of the drug and exhibit only the desirable action, but it is not going to alter the therapeutic efficacy of the drug. That is why it is said to be inert material. Examples include plant cellulose, dibasic calcium phosphate. The next category is the binders. Binders, the term itself is indicating that it is going to bind the drug intact in a particular dosage form. So these binders ensure that the tablets and the granules that are formed with the respective mechanical strength, and it is going to give volume to the low active dose tablets. The features include it should be compatible with the formulation ingredients, like its co-excipients that are added, disintegrants, glidants. When these are combined together in a dosage form, they should not exhibit any particular activity. They should be inert. Then they should have a cohesive force to the powder. That is, they're going to bind or give the compactness of a particular dosage form. Classification, they are of two types: solution binders, which are dissolved in a solvent. It is a co-solvent, we can say, like water or alcohol. And also we have dry binders like cellulose, methyl cellulose, PVP, and polyethylene glycol. Disintegrants play an important role if we want a drug or a dosage form to disintegrate very rapid in our oral cavity. Some of the agents used here are also called as super disintegrants. So they are the substance or mixture of substances that are added to the drug formulations, which is going to facilitate dispersion, or it breaks the tablet and capsules into smaller particle size so that it enhances the dissolution and when it comes in contact with water in the GIT. Some of the ideal properties that are exhibited are: it should have a good hydration capacity, and it is exhibiting a good gelation capacity also. Because if a disintegrant absorbs water and if it swells, it is going to act as a barrier through which the drug is going to get dispersed. Therefore, these are the important properties that should be exhibited by a disintegrant. Examples here are PVP, cellulose derivatives, SSG, and cross-carbamylose sodium. Coating agents are also important pharmaceutical excipients because they are going to coat if the drug is bitter, if it is having a nauseous odor, or if it is unacceptable, or even if you want to deliver a drug at a particular pH range, we can coat our dosage form with a coating agent. So they should be dry, and the dosage form is externally surrounded with an outer layer of coating material. And there are 3 types of coatings. It may be film coating, sugar coating, and compression coating. The function is protection at a particular pH range, masking the unpleasant taste and odor, give it elegance so that patient acceptability is enhanced. It can be easily swallowed, and it also helps in easy identification for the customer that is going to use it. Glidants are the next part of excipients. So colloidal silica is one of the example used. It is going to enhance the flow of a granular mixture. The mechanism involved here is it is going to reduce the interparticle friction, and it is used in the pharmaceutical production of tablets and capsules. So if we are going to inhibit or reduce the particle-particle friction or rubbing, then the flow property of a coherent mass, granules, or directly compressible material will be enhanced. So this is the main requirement what we need, and this can be fulfilled by a particular glidant, either that is used in a single form or a combination of glidants and lubricants. Function of this glidant is it promotes a good powder flow by reducing the interparticle friction and cohesion. They are used in combination with the lubricants. Examples is fumed silica, talc, magnesium carbonate. Preservatives, they are most commonly used in various foods and also in pharmaceutical products. The main intention or the aim or the objective behind using preservative is that it is going to prolong the shelf life, which is an important parameter when we are considering the storage conditions of a dosage form. So preservative systems, they protect the drug and the intactness of a dosage form against the microbial proliferation. But one thing that has to be kept in mind is the preservative is not going to interact with the drug or other excipients that are added. Then ideal properties of a preservative, it should exhibit a wide spectrum of antimicrobial activity at low inclusion levels. That is, if we are going to use wide concentrations of parabens, it should exhibit killing of the growth of the microorganisms at low doses, but for broad spectrum. Preservative maintains the activity throughout the product manufacture, shelf life, and the usage. It has to not adversely affect the patient safety or tolerance of the product. Examples are parabens, methyl or propine, benzoic acid and its salt, sorbic acid and its derivatives. Sweetening agent is another important component that has to be added in particularly liquid dosage form so that it increases the palatability of the drug so that the unwanted taste, bitter taste, nauseous odor can be masked. Examples is sucrose, saccharin, and aspartame. So liquid glucose, glycerol, sorbitol are also used. In this, aspartame is an artificial sweetener which is used in the formulations. But the use of this sweetener is limited because when a diabetic patient is going to take these type of preparations, it is going to increase the sugar level. Therefore, aspartame is restricted to be used for diabetic patients. Next, moving for the buffering agents. As the term indicates that buffer is going to resist a change in the pH, even on addition of small amount of an acid or a base. So this addition shouldn't change the pH of a particular composition or the desired dosage form. So to maintain this pH, we are going to add buffers or buffering agents. Examples, lactates, phosphates, tartarates, carbonates, citrates, etc. The property of a buffer is that it should have a low toxicity. Buffer range should be between 7.4. Lastly, the references. Handbook of Pharmaceutical Excipients, Alton's Pharmaceutics, and some of the web references. Thank you.